the defense can get some things done, and that could take a lot of pressure off of it as well. If I'm Brady, what I do is I use that as pressure points to make sure that the New England Patriots are going to get some players around him, as opposed to throwing everything on his shoulders and then throwing him to the wolves with a bunch of no-names that still have to learn how to play the game of football. In the case of the Oakland Raiders, I think that's a viable option if you're Brady and you want the pressure taken off of you, because obviously with Josh Jacobs there, John Gruden loves running the football more than throwing it, and I think a lot of people still have questions and trepidation about Derek Carr, even though I still believe that he could get some things done. In the end, though, I do think that if you really, really look at it, and if there's any truth, because I don't know whether there is or not, but if there's any truth to all of the speculation or the noise about Brady's relationship with Belichick being suspect, then I think at this stage and point in the career of Tom Brady, it will behoove him to go to a place where he know he will be valued and protected and cared for the way that his former teammate and friend Mike Vrabel, as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, would do for him.
Credit where it's due. Stephen A. was calling this because of Vrabel months ago, saying it's the best place for Brady. Stephen A., now other people are feeling the same way, maybe Brady too. I don't think it's the best place for Brady. First of all, when you talk about he shouldn't go someplace because they're running the ball, he better go someplace where they run the ball. That's the best place for Tom Brady.
No, I said that Oakland. I said he should consider Oakland because John Gruden likes to run more than pass, which would protect him.
Pardon me.
Yes.
Pardon me. Okay, that makes sense to me.
Right.
Let's look at the Tennessee Titans. First of all, forget about brand names in the NFL. That's very dangerous. Even quarterbacks you trust. The reason someone like Adrian Peterson, who could still play a little but was nothing like he once was, still gets headlines is because it's Adrian Peterson. But in terms of the actual production, there are lots of running backs better, after a certain point. So forget about brand names. 7 years ago or 5 years ago, if you said Tom Brady or Ryan Tannehill, it's a punchline. Of course, Tom Brady. Last year, Ryan Tannehill was better than Tom Brady. Well, it's because he had this, he had that. He was better than Tom Brady last year. And he's younger and ascending, and Brady's older and probably descending. So, even farther than he's already descended. So I think you're trading down if you don't sign Tannehill and instead sign Brady. That's one. Two, you talk about the running game. Of course, the whole offense was, Derrick Henry, heavy running. He's not a pass-catching running back either. He's a running back. Well, if you haven't signed him yet and you haven't signed your right tackle, well, maybe the running game won't be the same next year. So you want to bring in an inferior, I believe, at this point in his career, quarterback to kind of manage an offense predicated on the run where you may not have the running back or the guy blocking for him. I don't think Tennessee, the Vrabel point's good, but otherwise I don't think Tennessee's such a great location. I think if he switches teams, the Chargers make the most sense. It's L.A. They're loaded with talent. Let's see if it's Belichick or Brady.
Yeah, Max, I got to completely disagree with you on that one. The Titans make the most sense for 2 words and 1 name. It is Derrick Henry. You have to assume that the management for the Titans is going to have some common sense, and they're going to keep Derrick Henry and the reason he was able to move so well and run so well intact. But look at the bigger picture. Derrick Henry accounted for 33% or 1/3 of the Titans' offense. That means Tom Brady only has to come in and account for the other 2/3 of the offense. You're taking the load and the pressure off of Tom Brady's shoulders. Then let's look at things even further. When you look at the Titans, Tannehill, sure, was better in that 10-game sample size. But I can't compare 10 games of Tannehill to 20 years of Tom Brady. I'm just not ready to jump off the Brady bandwagon going forward because of what we saw from Tannehill in those 10 games, although those 10 games were excellent. However, the game that wasn't excellent, the game that mattered most, that playoff game they lost against the Chiefs. Again, the pivotal and operative word there being playoffs. When you need your quarterback to step up in the bright lights and the biggest of moments, you could argue that Tannehill was the reason, at least he was part of the reason, that the Titans didn't elevate and raise their game to beat the Chiefs. So if I look at it, you obviously have the piece of Mike Vrabel and Tom Brady. Mike Vrabel being the head coach, like Stephen A. said. They won 3 Super Bowls together in New England. We know that there has to be some sort of friendship, camaraderie, or at least acquaintance there. Then you look at the next layer. Tom Brady, he may be declining, but declining for Tom Brady is still ascending for most quarterbacks. Then you look at the fact of, Tom Brady, we don't need you to carry the whole rack. You can take some plates off the squat rack. We just need you to carry a little bit of that load. Tom Brady had no help in New England. With the help in Tennessee, I think that's the perfect matchup.
Derrick Henry got stopped against the Chiefs. It wasn't, Tannehill didn't have a great game, but the
Not at
whole
all.
key to the Chiefs' win is they stopped the run.
Yeah,
Well,
but you can stop the run because you're not worried about the quarterback. Remember, going into that game, wasn't nobody scared about Tannehill in the playoffs. So it's a lot easier to stop the run,
No one
Max, coming
stopped
from
Derrick.
a linebacker if you load the box because you're not worried about Tannehill gashing
Hold up, why
you
wouldn't
over
that
top.
apply? So why wouldn't that apply to the teams before they met the Chiefs? The Chiefs just suddenly figured that out?
I think when you have guys like Ty Matthew in the back end, I do think the Chiefs were prepared. Here's what happened in the playoffs. The Chiefs said, you know what, Tannehill? You're going to have to beat us. I don't think anybody's going to look at Tom Brady at any point in his career and say, you know what? We're going to dare Tom Brady, probably the best, most winningest quarterback of all time. We're going to dare him to beat us. That's just not, I think, what a recipe is for success when you talk about the playoffs.
Might be your best bet now. Might be your best bet now. I'm not sure about that.
Well, if you're the Chiefs, right, think about it. You know, the Houston Texans with a stud in Deshaun Watson goes up 24 on you. And the next thing you know, in the blink of an eye, they score 41 straight points. And Deshaun Watson couldn't do anything to stop the bleeding. And if you manage to do that against Deshaun Watson, you're damn sure ain't concerned about Ryan Tannehill, who ended up in that AFC Championship game throwing for 209 yards. It was a relatively pedestrian performance. Acho is absolutely right. They sat up there, loaded the box against Derrick Henry, and the Tennessee Titans had no answer. Now, that's not to say that would change with Tom Brady, but you clearly have more faith in Tom Brady being able to pull something out of his hat if he has the requisite talent to work with than you have with Ryan Tannehill, because even when Ryan Tannehill had talent in the past, he was very sporadic. He'd do something good for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then after that, he'd fade into oblivion. That did not happen this season, which is a credit to him. But one season does not a great quarterback make, and that's the reason why if you're the Tennessee Titans, you got a problem because you're going for it now, and it's Ryan Tannehill the guy to go for it with.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.